You have your Bibles, Matthew chapter 6. This is a part of the Sermon on the Mount, and it's one of my favorite verses. The first time I read this, I thought, this verse makes no sense. I do not get this one bit. Matthew chapter 6, 22. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are good, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If the light within you is darkness, then how great is that darkness? What on earth is this strange and mysterious passage about? It is about perspective. It's about perspective. It certainly doesn't mean if you have glasses, you're a bad person. It's about the way you view the world. I believe that nearly all evil simply emerges out of fear, doubt, that all comes from a bad perspective. All of our competition, our rivalry, our violence, it all comes out of bad perspective. And if Jesus says, if you can just get your eyes right, your whole body will be filled with light. And I believe it. There is a worldview that I've come to simply abhor. It's the worldview that everything is simply matter in motion. Everything can be measured. Everything can be labeled, pigeonholed, and plugged into some sort of formula. And to me, there truly is no more lifeless a worldview than this. This was so popular in the early 20th century, but as science has advanced and the way that we observe the universe continues, all of these theories about matter in constant motion continue to change and adapt and get stranger and stranger and, frankly, more religious sounding. We know for sure that the universe is no longer just matter in motion. Almost entire universes seem to spontaneously come out of nowhere, according to Stephen Hawking. Two quarks on opposite sides of the cosmos will spin at the same time with one another, appear and disappear. And science continues to lose its ability to explain the universe. I love science, I really do. I think it's so wonderful. And good science, I think, will help us develop a better worldview, not a worse one. But we can see that this scientific worldview, that everything is matter in motion, that there is nothing spiritual, everything is just material. Love is just a chemical reaction in your brain. That this kind of worldview is so dark. Jesus presented to us a different kind of worldview, and he said the worldview is the inbreaking of the kingdom of the heavens. It makes us think of this Plato type of view where we live in a material world, and then there's this spiritual world, heaven, that's in some other plane that we can't experience or be a part of. We just go there when we die, which is a great hope indeed, but that's all there is. And until we die, we will have no experience of that heaven. But Jesus didn't say that. In his worldview, it was the kingdom of the heavens. This was something the first century Jews understood. They saw the heavens not just as the place I go to when I die, which it certainly is, but an atmosphere, a reality that's constantly around me. They all knew this. And Jesus said that reality, it's not just in some other plane, it's not just even outer space, and it's not just the sky, it's literally the air around me. This is the heavens, and this is where God dwells. God fills the heavens. And Jesus says, through me, this reality is available to you. And by faith, if you can be a part of this reality, everything about you changes, especially your perspective. And when this happens, a new reign in your life takes place. He calls it a kingdom. We might say a government. Everything we're doing right now is affected by Dutch government. Every aspect of our life is being affected by Dutch government. We get to meet here because we're protected by the police, and where you build your house or where we could build this church or the fact that we can meet are all protected by the Dutch government. the way you buy, the way you pay your taxes, the way you drive down the road are all affected by Dutch government. And Jesus says there's a new reign that sort of transcends all the other kingdoms. This is the kingdom of the heavens. And it's a new perspective, and it's a new way of living. And it's my firm belief that the most important part of the spiritual change that takes place by grace through faith when we embark in the heavens is our perspective of our identity, who I am. That I am, and you are, the beloved sons and daughters of God. I heard a sermon by Henry Nouwen on the Hour of Power. It changed my life forever. It really did. And I'm going to tell it in my own words. He said, many people want to define you based on what you do, what you have, and what people say about you, but you truly are the beloved. And that no matter what you do, even sin cannot change the fact that God is in love with his children. There's a manuscript that talks about Albert Einstein when he was a young boy in a schoolroom. And he's sitting in his class, and the professor says to the class, God created the universe. God created evil. Therefore, God is evil. Young Albert Einstein sits up out of his chair. He says, Professor, and the teacher says, yes. He says, is there a such thing as cold? And the professor says, what sort of question is this? Of course there's a such thing as cold. And Albert Einstein says, 9. There is no such thing as cold, only the absence of heat. Is there such thing as darkness, Professor? And the teacher says, of course there is. What a ridiculous question. And he says, 9. There is no such thing as darkness, only the absence of light. Physics tells us these principles. And he says, there is no such thing as an evil God. Evil is the absence of the love of God in the hearts of men. Man, is that true? All evil, all darkness is the result of a bad perspective, an identity that is apart from the unending, true, abiding love of God. It never fails. It just never fails. Some people say you are what you do. Are you? When I meet someone at a party or go to some event, and I meet a stranger, and we talk for the first time. First, we exchange names, and what is the first question that person will ask you 90% of the time? Hi, my name is Bob. Hi, my name is Ralph. What do you do for a living? What do you do? Somehow, if I can figure out what your job is, what you do for a living, I'll know so much more about who you are. You know, we hear this all day long, that we are what we do. And then the question arises, if I am what I do, if I'm defined by my job or defined by my projects or even defined by my holiness or by sin, what happens if I am what I do, what happens if simply I can't do anything anymore? Am I then nothing?